Hi, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. I'm glad that you're here with me. I'm so excited to be doing these videos on this channel and be here with you and sharing the information that I've learned over the years. It's just so much fun for me to do these videos. So thank you for joining me. So in today's video, we're going to talk about meditation basics. And I wanted to talk about this because I felt that with the energy that we've been having coming in since the beginning of the year, it's been very intense from the sun and everything that's going on with that. Plus, the changes that we're experiencing on a global scale, it can get quite stressful. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be experiencing probably anxiety and having stress. And it's going to be, there's a transition period to it, getting like integrating all this energy and making these changes. And it can be quite stressful for us psychologically, physically, emotionally, and energetically. So, I wanted to do a video on meditation basics and just go over some basic things. We're not going to do a meditation in this video. These are just, some basics, but there are plenty of meditations that you can do if you just do a little bit of research. It's on YouTube. You can find it online, but trying to keep this video to us, lower, so to only just a few minutes. So I didn't want to get too long into it. So we're just going to go over some basics in this video. But I personally didn't really start meditating till about 10 years ago. And I wish I would have started doing it as a child, to be honest, because I've seen a lot of improvements in myself. I've seen, it's been very positive for me and I've seen improvements. And so I wish I would have done it a lot earlier. But it was about 10 years ago when I really started to meditate and started doing it on a regular basis. Now, one thing I need to work on is meditating every day. Sometimes I just forget. I try to do it either in the morning when I first wake up or at night before I'm too sleepy and I'm getting ready for bed. I'm trying to do it during those two times. But sometimes, honestly, I just get so busy that I totally forget about it. And sometimes I can go 2, 3 days and forget to do about it. So I'm trying, that's something I need to work on personally, is remember to do it every day. And I'm trying to get better with that, but that's definitely a goal of mine. So meditation is the act of mentally exercising the mind to train one's attention and awareness. So when you're meditating, you're training your brain basically to be, to be aware in the present moment and bring your attention to that, whatever you're meditating on. But here's what I really feel is important is it focuses on spiritual growth and transcending emotions in a calm present state of being. And mindfulness is being aware of the present moment, and it can be included in meditation. So mindfulness is technically different from meditation, but it can be included in meditation. And that's just being aware in the present moment. But meditation's been around for thousands of years. I believe when I was doing research a while back about this, I saw like some civilizations were doing it up to like 5,000 years ago. But in every area seems to have different ways of meditating. But there's, the basic meditation's been around for thousands of years, and they have their own practices depending on the area. But what's really interesting about meditation is I feel like it really helps connect us to the I am presence, the divine spark in all of us, and it helps to connect us to higher consciousness and our spiritual evolution. And I feel like those are the two most important parts about meditation is connecting us to the divine and connecting us to that higher consciousness. Because when you think about it, we've been programmed on this planet in our world to not think about this stuff, to not focus on meditation. In our world, it's all about go, 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 and focusing all our energy and thought process on, day to day things. And really, when you think about it, those day to day things aren't important. They're really not in the big scheme of things. So really, we're here on the earth for spiritual growth and to grow our consciousness. It's not anything to do with the day-to-day tasks that we have on earth or what we're told to focus on or programmed on to focus on. And you think about all the energy that you waste every day on those things of the world that really aren't important. And I know that we have to do those things to survive in this world, But I feel like even adding just a few minutes of meditation every day is going to help counteract some of that energy that you're spending on those things and bringing it back to yourself, to your spiritual growth and your spiritual evolution. Because that's why we're here on the planet. That's why we're really here. So, those are the things we need to be focusing on, not the go, 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 run, run, run type lifestyle that we've been programmed to believe is what's important on earth. So I think meditation is a way to really kind of combat that. And I feel like that's part of what makes it so important because, I was never trained about this. I was never told about meditation growing up. And I think a lot of people haven't been. It just was not what we were, not what we were programmed to believe is important. But really, it's extremely important. So, and you can, so it's no time like the present to start meditation. So, hopefully, these basics we talk about today will help you if you're already meditating. It might help bring some information to you that you didn't know about, or if you haven't started yet, it's a good time to start. And hopefully, these basics will help you with that process of starting meditation. So, another way that meditation helps us is to stay in the present moment. It helps us with getting rid of stress, relaxing, and basically releasing negative energy and empowering. And it can help us to eliminate our reaction to negative thoughts and feelings. And that was something that I've seen personally in myself is, before I started meditating, if I had negative thoughts or feelings, I could like stew in them for a day or two, right? And be grumpy and be in a bad mood all day and, just kind of stew in it for now that I've been meditating, I and my consciousness and my vibration has lived since then, I'm able to kick it out. Now I still have those negative thoughts and feelings pop in my head, but what the difference is now is I don't allow it to control me like I used to. I'm able to within an hour or two, like it's like I process the feeling. I feel the negative feelings and I understand that's what's going on. I give it a second to process those feelings and then I kick them out because it's not doing me any good to hold on to those negative thoughts and feelings. So I want to get rid of them and eliminate them as much as possible. And even like a couple minute meditation can help with that to help clear your mind and get rid of those thoughts and feelings. And about staying in the present moment is very important because we're not when you're dwelling on the past, you're kind of ruminating into in a lot of times into like regret or negative feelings about the past, and it's really bothering you. But staying in the present moment helps get rid of that from the past, and it helps let that all go. But it also helps keep us from trying to control and worry about the future. So basically, when you're staying in the present moment, you're just living at that moment. You're letting go about what happened in the past. You're letting go of any emotions connected with that. And then you're not worried about the future because just remember the divine has our back. And whatever comes in the future is going to be for our greater good. Even if we don't see it that way at the moment, it always is. Because I can look back in my life and see things that have happened and it's been for my greater good. Even at the moment, I didn't realize that, but then, like, a year later, I could look back and say, "Yes, it was for my greater good." So, you just have to trust the divine and to trust his guidance, and he has a plan for us, and he's able to, he's gonna guide us to what's best for us. And that's what meditation helps is because it helps to quiet the mind. It helps us get away from that run, run, run mentality all day and having our mind full of all these things that aren't important. It helps us to get rid of all that and clear that out of our minds so that we're open to the guidance from the divine, from angels, from high dimensionals, and from our higher self, because they're always there trying to guide us and give us downloads of information and reach out to us. But when we're so full of other things in our head and we're so distracted, we can't listen to them and we miss what they're trying to tell us. But meditation, when you're staying in the present moment, it can open you up so that you do get that guidance from them that they want to give you and that connection with them that you want to have. So, meditation is a way to recognize different patterns and habits in our mind. And this is important because a lot of times, we have patterns in our mind that are subconscious that we don't even know we have. But a lot of times they formed in our childhood through trauma or experiences that we had as a child, and they can become coping mechanisms. And we don't realize that we're doing it. It's all subconscious. But meditation can help you to see those patterns and be able to make changes to get you out of them. In habits that we might have in our mind that aren't positive. It can help. Like when I was mentioning earlier about the negative thoughts and emotions, I've been able to get rid of the habit of stewing in it for a day and two and being able to process it and get rid of it much more quickly. It also helps to enhance our physical, emotional well being, meditation does. And it energizes us, relaxing, peaceful state of mind. And it's a way of transforming the mind. Now, transforming the mind happens, but it takes time. So it's not going to happen the first time you meditate. But over time, you will see a change in how you think in your mind. And also, what's interesting about the enhancing the physical and emotional well being is that your our consciousness is so our mind is so important, our consciousness, and it's all tied in together. So basically, if you have, you know, issues like physical issues, if you have emotional issues, meditation can really help with that because it's all connected. So, going to benefits of meditation, it does help manage stress. It can reduce negative emotions, like I mentioned. But here's what's really interesting, it can help release energy and emotional blockages. So, going back to what I just said about if you struggle with emotional issues or physical issues. Now, I'm not a doctor, so if you're having physical issues and symptoms you're concerned about, please go see a medical professional. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a psychic medium with information and experiences, but I'm not medical doctor. But I'm just saying that when you have a lot of negative energy in your energetic field, and in your chakras, it causes blockages in your energy, and then it will eventually come out physically. So a lot of, illnesses that we see in disease are caused from our energetic fields being messed up. And then after time, it manifests in the physical body because it hasn't been dealt with. And our chakras, we've got seven of them, seven in the body. There's a few above our head and some below our feet, and they are little spinning energy centers that connect us, to divine source. And they basically get downloads of information from the divine source. And when they're gunked up with negative, emotions or negative energy, they don't spin properly. And when they don't spin properly, it comes out in physical form as issues around that, that are connected to that chakra because it's not spinning that energy properly. So we are not meant to have illness and disease. And when you look at the benevolent space boys that are higher dimensional, they do not have disease and illness because they're so far advanced with their consciousness and that higher vibrational level that they are able, as soon as there's something that's misaligned in their energy field, they're able to recognize it and deal with it right away before it manifests into their physical body. So they're able to get rid of it right away. And that's what's going to happen with us as we get to that higher vibrational level into the 5D earth. We'll be able to heal ourselves just like that because we'll be able to see the misalignment and take care of it right away. And we'll be able to do that with our consciousness because we can heal our body with our consciousness. But since we're on a lower level and we're not in the 5D level yet, like, a lot of this, in the higher levels of dimensions, like the space boys that it's hard for us to be able to do it because we're so low vibrational in the physical realm here in the 3D world. So it's hard for us to heal ourselves, but it can be done. There have been instances in this physical world where people have healed themselves through their consciousness and through meditation. I've seen studies on it. So it has happened, but it's just harder because we're so lower vibration. But basically, when you have that negative energy in your energy field just kind of lingering, it does not do you any good. So you want to get rid of it as fast as possible. And then just think about like stress. Like there's all kinds of studies now that show about chronic stress leads to illness because, stress is not good for our body, and that negative energy on our body is not good for us, especially if it's been going on for a long time. It will manifest into illness. So that's just an example of how that negative energy can affect us. And meditation can help with that. It also helps with brain function like memory, focus, and learning. It helps with being in the present moment and heightened self awareness. And constant meditation can help with health and well being. It can help with physical symptoms and lower stress, which can cause many diseases. And it also helps with anxiety. So I know, like, I'm not a very anxious person. I don't have a lot of issue with anxiety, but just, once in a while it kicks up and I have anxiety and it'll pop up. And I figured out that meditation is a way for me to control it. Even if I'm like, say I'm at work and I'm having an anxious moment at work and I really can't meditate because I'm in my office, right? But I can take, at least 3 to 5 minutes. If I just sit there for 3 to 5 minutes and do some breathing techniques and exercises, even something simple like breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, allowing my chest and my lungs to fill fully with air and just focusing on my breathing, and that's what I'm focused on in my mind is my breathing. And I'm feeling my chest go up and down. Just doing that for 3 to 5 minutes will help me to be back in center and help me to be rebalanced and get rid of that anxiety. And people don't realize how powerful breathing techniques are. They really are, because think about it. We can go weeks without food and we can go days without water, but we can only go a few minutes without air. And air is like the breath of life for us. And it's extremely important to our energetic field, to our spiritual wellness. We don't realize it because we haven't been trained or taught how important it is, but it really is important. And so that's why doing these breathing techniques work, because it helps bring that energy of us back to center. It helps to rebalance us because it is that important. And also with the physical symptoms, like I've noticed that that you can, like, if you meditate, say, I'm just going to use an example, and I'm not talking about illness that needs to be medically addressed, but say like I pull a muscle and it's really bothering me. Even if I meditate on that area that I'm having problems with my muscle, like if I can use my mind and consciousness and just focus on that area and send light and love to those cells. And in my mind, and when I meditate, I'm very visual. So I like to use a lot of visualization to it. And I'm like in my mind, I'm seeing that love light energy go into those cells, into that muscle. It's helping, it's repairing it. I can see it repairing it in my mind. And if I do that for a few days, I've noticed that it does make it better. I do see an improvement. So we are able to help with our physical body with that as well. So during meditation, unbalanced, and this is, I just want to say before I read this, this is from studies that I've seen on meditation and how it affects the brain. So during meditation, unbalanced brainwave patterns will sync up and become balanced between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And the frontal lobe will turn off, and the perennial lobe is the middle part of your brain. It slows down. The thalamus shuts down incoming data to a trickle. Reticular formation dials back the signal for arousal. Excuse me. Changes in the brain continue after meditation and even continue during everyday tasks. So there's been studies done in the last couple years that, and I've seen it, like MRIs where they do like a brain before meditation and a brain during meditation. And there's clearly a difference when you look at the MRI. It's clearly different. And you can see how the meditation's affecting the brain in a positive way and doing the things that I just mentioned. And I just think that's fascinating that it has that kind of effect on our brain. But what's even cooler about it is when you're doing meditation on a regular basis, it does change your brain. And it will continue. These changes will continue after meditation. So even if you meditate once a day for 5-10 minutes, the changes in your brain during that 5-10 minutes will stay with you throughout the day, even when you're doing everyday tasks, which I think is really fascinating. There's different styles of meditation. There's body scan, where you're thinking about different parts of your body during the meditation. There's the breath awareness, which I was talking about earlier, that I do sometimes in my office or even at home when I get anxiety. There's guided meditations, and some people really like the guided meditations. That's definitely, and that might be a good way to start if you haven't started meditating yet. Guided meditations might be a good way to start. And meditation is the first Buddha virtue. It's sending loving kindness to a person or a group of people, focusing on unconditional love. And a lot of times, this type of meditation uses phrases or mantras that you repeat, but it's like, you're spending you're thinking, in your mind, you're using energy and extending unconditional love out to a certain person or to a group of people, and you're saying these mantras while you're doing it. So those are just some examples of different styles of meditation. One of the things that I've noticed is if I have a hard time letting go of something, one meditation I didn't mention here in these notes, but I like to do for myself is the purple flame meditations, what I call it. And I'll like imagine, because like I said, I like to visualize. So I'll imagine like a giant purple flame in front of me. Well, Saint Germain's there, helping me, is he's the keeper of the purple flame, and throwing like whatever's bothering me, whatever I have anxiety about or I'm holding on to that I need to let go of. I feel like I'll pull it out of me, like I'll visualize me pulling that out of me and throwing it into the purple flame to release it. And sometimes I have to do that a few times to release it, or maybe for a week or 2 weeks. But I've noticed that it helps me to release things when I do that meditation with the purple flame. And I see it when I throw it in the purple flame, it kind of, I can see it little little cinders go and it burns up in the purple flame. So that helps me when I need to do that. So some basics of meditation, it helps with focused attention. And then the breathing, like I was talking about how important breathing is. This is part of it. I did some research and I found out that breathing resets your nervous system, which is why it helps me with the anxiety, is it's resetting my nervous system. It removes toxins that are in our system. It eliminates stress. It helps us to focus our minds, balance our brain, and restores energetic channels. And that's just breathing. So that just shows you how important breathing really is. And so, and I, like I said, I witnessed it with myself at how, how much power it has. But that's really fascinating that just breathing can have those type of positive effects. So meditation practices, so comfortable position and environment. If you want to start, meditate, make sure you're not going to be interrupted. Make sure you have a quiet place that you can do it in a quiet, an environment, even if it's just 5, 10 minutes. Some people like to fixate on a point or object. That's one way that people like to practice meditation. I do that, but sometimes I don't. I kind of vary. That is one thing that you can help you get into that meditative state. Having an open mind, of course, and practice will make it easier the more you practice and make you stronger at it. But also, one key point here I want to bring up before I end this video is be patient with yourself. You're not going to be a master at it overnight. Especially if you're just starting, you have to just practice and practice. And the part about the open mind, there's times even now I'm sitting there meditating after all these years, and all of a sudden out of my head, I'll think about, oh, what do I want to make for dinner tonight? Some kind of random thought or something will pop in my head about work or something that's, just pops in there. And then I'm like, okay, I need to get that out of my mind. And then I just start over. So don't give up when those things happen. Just redirect your mind to going back to being an open mind. Because, like I said, we've been so trained to have our brain on all the time about these things about our daily life that it's hard for us to shut our brain off. And I think that's probably the biggest complaint I've heard from people that are trying to meditate or learning to meditate is, I have a hard time shutting my brain off. And what I tell them is it's just practice. You just have to, you're going to slip up. You're going to slip up and think about dinner or work or the kids or whatever. But then you need to recognize it and start over. Just get right back into it, but don't give up. But as time goes on with practice, it will be easier for you to be able to stay in an open mind state. But just give yourself time and grace to improve. Don't get upset and frustrated with yourself if you're having a hard time shutting off your brain in the beginning. It just takes time. So be patient with yourself, but you will, and just keep at it, because like with anything, practice will make it better and you will see improvement in results. So I hope that this has all helped you with these meditation basics. And like I said, hopefully if you're already meditating, it may be something you've learned to make it better, or if you're new to it, maybe it'll help you to get started. I hope this information you find helpful. Please like and subscribe so that if somebody else needs to hear this information, if you hit the like button, it'll send it out. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get more videos. I try to put out about 3 to 4 videos a week, depending on my schedule. So if you subscribe, then you'll be able to get notified of them when they're coming, when they get out. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here with me, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.